Trying to identify a mentor for a young brother could be really difficult. I made a lot of attempts as a young man, never found a lifelong mentor. I found mentors for different moments in my life. And what it comes down to is it could be awkward for the young man trying to be mentored and the mentor themselves. I recall when I was younger, I sat down with a cat, was a college administrator. I was late teens, early 20s. And what came back was hella awkward. He said I could take out a life insurance policy on him. I continue to pay the premiums. And then in the case of his untimely demise, I would inherit something, which is interesting, but it wasn't what I was looking for. So he and I, needless to say, didn't have too many more conversations following that one. If you're dealing with a young brother who reads, if you're fortunate to deal with someone who reads, my son ain't that, couldn't influence him to read unless it was for school. No allowance, no threat of pseudo violence, nothing was going to do that. He's a cool cat, but he's not a reader. Me and my mother read a lot together. And books I would assign would be books like Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice by Dennis Kimbrough, Kahlo's The Alchemist, The Richest Man in Babylon, and Claude Brown's Man-Child and The Promised Land. I would throw all those books into the mix and just have a dialogue. Now, if the cat isn't a reader, that's fine too, because the best way to influence a young man, and this is, now I'm speaking mostly to brothers, the best way for a brother to influence a young man is by example. What I gravitated towards was not somebody who thought they was tough, because I thought I was tough as a young man. So if you came at me like you were the toughest, then it's a challenge. It's on. We was going to go at it eventually. And what do you look for? You look for somebody who seems like they got life figured out, got it all together. People who have an even-keeled temperament. They're balanced. They're not flying off the handle for this and that. They got it all under control. Someone who seems like they're thinking things through. And someone who is resourceful. They have their own resources, and then they know how to approach other people to leverage their resources without seeming desperate. And that's the type of example you would give a young brother. And I lastly would mention that you need to be persistent. You couldn't leave it to the brother to continuously approach you. He might disappear for a week, but you can't let him go away for a week or a month and then you don't do nothing like, well, I guess he ain't want no mentor then. Nah, you have to be the biggest person. They say it's the biggest person that does all the bending. You have to be that persistent part of the equation that if you don't hear from them, you seek them out. Not that you should force them to listen to you, but meet them at least halfway. Might need to go a little further. Be that perfect example of a strong man, and you'll have no choice but to build others.